we've got a special roundtable today, and we're even recording video, which is a new thing. And I know I'm out of my element, so I apologize for weird hand motions and anything else that happens. Really more comfortable in audio only. But we had to do something special because this is a dual Strategerist podcast and Catalyst episode. And so first off, hello to my esteemed colleague, Brittney Bain. She's the newly minted editor of the Catalyst, the Journal of Ideas from the Bush Institute. We're celebrating America at its best, which comes out Tuesday. Brittney, thanks for doing this.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And in past years, right around mid-May, these folks would be traveling the country, probably in first place in the National League West, but instead they're here with us. So thank you for taking a little time from your families to Zoom all the way in from across town, across Dallas. Ellen and Clayton Kershaw. Clayton, the 3-time Cy Young Award winner, National League MVP. Thank you all so much for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here.
So, Brittney, why don't you kick things off?
Sure. Thanks, Andrew. So he mentioned that we're celebrating America at its best. We're doing that in our latest issue of the Catalyst, where we're really highlighting the helpers and heroes among us. And so what better couple to talk to than the two of you? So I wanted to start by asking you both, where are you seeing America at its best? Ellen, if you want to start, and then Clayton.
Gosh, just in our community, I think we've seen so many people just being really unique on how to connect with one another, especially from our kids' perspective. I just feel like people are getting really creative, and we've had some drive-by concerts, these birthday parades that are happening. Even there's schools that are doing online learning, and, we do game nights via Zoom and play bingo, socially distanced away. And so there just have been some really cool ways of, you just realize it's such an innate need in us that we need to connect with people. And so people are getting really creative with how to do that and not see each other in person.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off that, one of our kiddos, their school, they did basically they threw an email out saying, put bears in your front windows and act like your kids are going on a bear hunt. And so, you can walk your kids around the neighborhood and they can count the bears or the stuffed animals they see. And that was so fun for our kiddos. And I think, just like Ellen said, just the innate want and need to connect. And just even walking around here and waving, just a simple gesture to wave. I feel like everybody is waving now and just saying hi and smiling, as opposed to maybe people are so busy they just zoom through and don't even stop. So people definitely aren't as busy now, and it's been there are some great blessings that have come out of this time for us.
Yeah.
So it's always inspirational to see athletes that are active in their communities. Ellen, can you tell us about Kershaw's Challenge and what you guys are doing to support the communities that are dealing with COVID-19 right now?
Absolutely. Yeah. Kershaw's Challenge is the name of our charity that Clayton and I began 10 years ago. We're actually about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. And every year we roll out new beneficiaries and projects to Kershaw's Challenge. We get to raise money through our ping pong tournament in LA, through Casey Live, our country music concert in Dallas. And this year, right as we were rolling out our beneficiaries and our projects for this year, obviously we were in the midst of COVID, and there are so many organizations that are providing meals and relief for people that are really in need. And so thankfully 2 of our beneficiaries, Behind Every Door here in Dallas and the Dream Center in LA, they are on the front lines trying to provide hot meals and relief to people that are in such desperate need. And so we just ran out this COVID campaign for 2 weeks. And it was amazing. Yeah. We raised over $85,000 just in 2 weeks for these organizations. So, talk about ways that we've seen America be great and at its best right now. People are desperate to give and to want to find opportunities and outlets to be able to give back. And we got to see that firsthand.
Yeah, we saw so many of our faithful donors to continue to support us. But something that was really cool was that we saw $5, $10, $20 donations from across the country, just wanting to help with whatever they could. And I think that was special to see. Just people, just like Ellen said, are willing to help and just giving however much or however little they have, trying to support other people. So definitely a cool thing to see out of this 2-week campaign.
You picked 2 charities, one in Dallas, one in Los Angeles, I guess your 2 homes. How did you pick these 2 organizations to support? Do they have special meaning to you?
Well, so like Ellen said, every year we pick new beneficiaries for our Kershaw's Challenge project. That's what we do every year. I have different grant applications. Been just fortunate that we've worked with Behind Every Door and the Dream Center before, and we're going to continue to have them as beneficiaries. And we have other projects that we're going to continue to do with them. But since they already had things set up for COVID relief and being able to provide meals, we just decided to do a quick 2-week campaign and let people know that if you donated during this time, it would be going to these 2 nonprofits. And it was just it was awesome. It worked out really well.
You know, the Dream Center is serving literally thousands of hot meals a day to families who all of a sudden are without jobs, without foods, have all their kids home and not eating at school. And same with Behind Every Door, they're creating these care packages that they're delivering to people's homes with groceries and essentials and hygiene products. And so it's almost like we didn't want to recreate the wheel when we were trying to figure out a way to support people in need during this COVID time. We just wanted to partner with those who are already on the front lines and had relationships built. So again, we love these organizations. We believe in them and we trust them. And we're thankful that our donors trust us and know that we do all the vetting beforehand and know where their money can go.
And so one of the things that Kershaw's Challenge and the Bush Institute have in common is a commitment to Africa. You know, President Bush started PEPFAR when he was in office, and we continue that work now through something called the Go Further Partnership, where we screen and treat cervical cancer on the continent. I was fortunate enough to be able to go a couple of years ago to Botswana and Namibia and see that work on the ground. And there is something, it changes your heart, I think. It changes your perspective on things. And I know that that's the case for the two of you. So I wondered if you could talk a little bit about that.
Go for it.
Well, I mean, we love what the Bushes are doing over in Africa. You know, even in Zambia, where that's where Kershaw's Challenge all began for us. I started going there, I mean, probably 15 years ago or something like that, and left a huge piece of my heart over there. And I always told Clayton, the first time you hug a Zambian child, your life is forever changed, because, you know, it becomes about that one kid. And if you could just change the life of that one kid, then that was worth all the work and all the money and everything it took to get over there. And sometimes I think we get really overwhelmed by the massive blanket of poverty that is Africa and all the need that is over there. And so I just think that that's what we try to do with Kershaw's Challenge is it's one kid at a time, one life at a time. And so we've gotten to build a couple orphanages over there, just children's home, where these kids, about 30 of them now, 15 in each home, are able to be raised in a home that feels like a family. They have brothers and sisters and house parents. And now we're finishing up a school over there. So you know, that's been always the heartbeat and the cornerstone of Kershaw's Challenge. And I'm thankful that the Lord has kind of expanded our vision to, you know, Dallas and LA and the Dominican Republic as well.
And our beneficiary over there is called Arise Africa. And so through them is kind of how we've been able to do all this. And like Ellen said, it started with one kid and her name was Hope. And I remember, I mean, clear as day when Ellen I got a phone call from Ellen from Africa just saying, you know, we need to help this girl and we do something more than just have, you know, her basic needs met. And now Hope is thriving in one of the homes, and she's getting ready to finish up school and start thinking about a profession and things like this. And just to see where she was when Ellen met her, we think she's probably 9 or 10 when Ellen met her, and to where she is now is just like Ellen said, just to see that in one kid is really special.
That's so great. Thank you guys for that incredible work.
Well, that was 15 years ago. So you would have been just kind of starting off in your baseball career, and that memory is still with you this many years later.
Yeah, that was actually our honeymoon. Basically, we got married in 2010, and then 3 weeks later, she had me over to Africa. So that was my first trip over. Ellen had been going, you know, a few times before. That was my first trip basically with her. Is right after we got married, and it was just so providential to see, you know, God give us baseball. And then to have Ellen's passion of Africa, and then to use that platform for Kershaw's Challenge. And there's a lot of divine intervention there. So it was really cool to see.
While we're talking about the Bush Institute, another aspect that we're really passionate about is leadership and developing leaders. And leadership in baseball is a little different in that there's no leadership training classes as far as I know, not in the majors, but you're now well into your career. Clayton, you're a All-Star, you're a Cy Young winner, you're an MVP. So by default, you kind of become a clubhouse leader. Is that something you really relish and enjoy, or is it something that you seek out, or does it just happen?
Yeah, I became a veteran fast. You know, I looked up and I was surrounded by 22 and 23-year-olds. So that happened really fast. But, you know, I think leadership isn't necessarily driven by success. It's how people are drawn to you. It's how you interact with people in the clubhouse. And it's just been interesting journey for me to have so many different people ahead of me and kind of realize what I liked and what I didn't like, and how I really learned. And the way I learned was by example. I had lots of guys in front of me that they talked to me, but it didn't really do anything because I went and saw what they did and they weren't doing what they said. And so for people just to have that example, I think is so important. So I'm not a huge vocal leader, I wouldn't say, but definitely try to do everything by example and try to do the things the right way. And hopefully people have questions about that. And that's kind of how I try to get through to guys, is just by continuing to do the same things every day and be consistent. And people end up respecting you for that.
We've never had, I don't think, a major league baseball player or any other professional athlete apply to our Presidential Leadership Scholars Program. So, I think the schedules overlap right now, but once you retire many years down the road, take a look at that. I think you might get something.
All right. I'll be looking for something
Put
to
in
do.
a good
That'd be
word
great.
for you.
Yeah. All right.
Let's keep talking about baseball a little bit. We've got Clayton Kershaw here. We have to talk a little bit of baseball. You've got a few miles on the tires now. You're not quite as young as you used to be. You still look good, but you're not quite as young. Is this break good for you, or have you had this chance to rejuvenate a little more, or are you worried about breaking out of that routine?
Yeah, you don't really get to build up rest. Like no matter how long you rest, you still play the season and feel the aches and pains of the season. So you definitely need some recovery time, but you don't need the 6 months that we've had, obviously, now with COVID. So I'm excited to get baseball back. Ellen and I both are. We're excited to, if it does get to happen, I'll be ready. And, this is weird for us to be in Dallas at this time of year. We're not used to it. Everybody says it's hot here. It's beautiful weather. Yeah, I don't know what everybody's complaining about in the summer. It's beautiful. So we're excited to potentially get to play some baseball, and I'll be ready to go.
And Ellen, what's keeping you guys busy with this unexpected family time you've got right now?
Man, our 3 children are keeping us busy. We've been so spoiled having Clayton around. Usually this time of year, yes, we're in LA, but Clayton is on a plane every other week, and we just try to follow him and travel a lot. So honestly, we get a little antsy when we're in one place for too long. We don't really know what to do when we've been in the same place for months on end. And so we're ready to get back out there. For us, it's just a big adventure getting to do baseball and travel, and our kids miss it. They have baseball friends that we see at the games every night and in LA. And so we are eager to get back there. And, but we also are savoring our time here with Clayton. We're not ready to give him up quite yet.
How's he doing with all this? He's famously a man of routine. How's he holding up? Is he driving you nuts yet?
No, he's doing great. I mean, he has an off-season routine of he works out and throws in the morning, and that's kind of when we've been doing a little bit of homeschooling in the morning. Our kids are in preschool, so it's not anything too complicated. But from 12 o'clock on, he's all in. He's hands-on, and we just tag team the 3 kids. We've got a baby that's just 3 months old, and then 2 toddlers. And so there's plenty of activities for the 2 of us to run around and keep busy with.
Which of the 3 is going to be the athlete, do you think?
I mean, it depends. Charlie loves baseball. Our middle son, Charlie, loves it. Cooper's just 4 months, so we're not sure. And then our daughter's the oldest, Callie, she's 5, and she's not she'll play, but I think she's more of like, she'll probably follow in Ellen's footsteps and be like the dancer ballerina type. But I will say she is not like the Kershaw family in that she's really fast. She can run. So maybe she'll have some track aspirations or something like that. And that's one thing that
neither of us have.
Yeah, Kershaw's will never be able to do. So that'd be cool if Callie could do that.
You're precision athletes, but not necessarily speed gazelles out there, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to win any track meets, that's for sure.
Well, actually that kind of brings up something that we were wanting to try with you guys. And so one of you is a professional athlete, obviously going to be a hardcore competitor. But in every marriage, I think there's usually some sort of competition. So we wanted to throw a few topics out at you and tell us who's better at which of these different things. And so let's try one on. You just mentioned, Ellen, you were a dancer. So you 2 get out there on the dance floor. Who's the better dancer between you 2?
I mean, she's the better dancer, but I'll own my bad dancing, though. I will own it. I'm not afraid to get out there.
For sure.
They do the lawnmower and all the other classic moves.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
What about Papa Shot?
Oh, wow. That's Clayton.
Yeah.
That's all Clayton.
Cool.
I'll take that one. Yeah, I can beat her.
What's the special technique? Is it all on the wrist or is it elbow?
You know what? I don't know, but just shoot it fast and hope it go in.
You all said you do a ping pong tournament every year. Who's the ping pong champion?
That'd be Clayton too. I've tried to keep up with him a little bit, but no, I turn my paddle in. I'm no good.
You're like me then. I find nothing more frustrating than trying to play ping pong. Like,
I know. He's pretty good.
Never hit it. Yeah, that was probably an unfair one. What about cooking? Who wins the cooking challenge in the household?
I think I could take that one.
That'd be her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even try.
We've had fun cooking during quarantine. It's given us a good reason to, have home cooked meals, sit down as a family. And so that's been a silver lining. You know what? Right now I'm cooking through the new Magnolia cookbook and it's been awesome. So.
Brittney, you are too, aren't you?
Yeah, that's funny. I just got it last week. I haven't opened
You
it up
did?
yet, but
It's great. Yeah,
Okay, good.
It's really good.
Good. Another good quarantine project.
Yes, exactly.
Who's better with the remote control? Who's better at picking something on Netflix to watch?
Man, we're both not good at that.
No.
I think it's almost overwhelming to try and start a new season of something. So
Yeah.
we ended up just watching.
We watch the same things.
Yeah,
over
we
and
just
over
watch
again.
reruns of like Parks and Rec and New Girl over and over again. So, I mean, by the end of the day, we don't want to like have to think of new characters to watch and understand what's going on. So just like a quick little funny show is what we need.
Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Oh man, that was our high school for us. The two of us got into heated competitions in high school over Mario Kart.
It might
I think it was me.
It might be. I don't want to give that to you. It's close though. It's close. Yeah.
No, but lately Clayton has busted out Nintendo 64
I have
again.
got to back out though.
So he's been doing Smash Brothers in his office and trying to teach our kids what all those are.
It's great. Yeah. I mean, it's.
He's not a video gamer.
Kirby.
Kirby. Okay. Yeah, I was a Jigglypuff guy myself.
All right. Yeah, that was as cool as we were in high school. That's what we did in high school. So
Yeah.
Played ping pong and Smash Brothers. It was great.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like my high school experience as well. So, we never let anybody go without asking them kind of one final question. We usually ask one of two. One is, what are we not talking enough about as a nation? But we've asked that one a lot recently. So we want to throw it, John. What is the question that no one has asked you in this long journey of doing this that you wish someone would?
I don't know if this really answers the question as well, but I think that the one thing I would want more people to ask about or talk about is how younger people, high schoolers, middle schoolers, kind of the younger generation, what they could be doing to start making a difference right where they are. I think sometimes Clayton and I talk about how we kind of felt like we needed to wait until we were more established and had an income and had a platform and, in more independence to start giving back. We kind of felt like we needed to reach a certain point in our life in order to start giving back, to start a foundation, to start doing things to make a difference. One thing that we just want to have more conversation about and really be able to ask questions and try to figure out is how can the younger generation, how can our kids feel like they can be making a difference with the abilities that they have? If they don't have money, well, let's do a lemonade stand to raise money. If they don't, maybe using their time or reading books, and for every book that they read, their parents donate $1 to an organization, something like that. I just think that we'd love to connect with the younger generation and figure out how they can start giving back to others in need.
It's a great one. I mean, I think for me, baseball wise, a lot of people look at the end result, and rightfully so. It's the game's about winning, and that's ultimately how you get judged in this game, which is the way it should be. You're there to win, but you don't just show up and win. There's a lot of things that go into it on a day in, day out basis to put yourself in a position to win. So when people just ask about the final product, I think people should ask a lot more about the journey. And I think Kobe had a quote like that. And Kobe said something about, I don't want to butcher it, but what I'll remember is the journey, not the end result, or something like that. And that's what he'll miss. And that's what I'll miss too, is like the in between the games, and just what it takes to continue to perform at an elite level and win games. And I think people should just dive into that, because everybody wants the end result, but not a lot of people have the willingness and the determination to continue to do it. And you asked about leadership earlier. I mean, I think a lot of people can get up maybe necessarily and give really good speeches about leadership and talk about what it looks like, but there's not that many people willing to get down in the trenches and fight and grind and compete and can be consistent day in, day out, to have the respect of people that they want to follow. And, that's one of the things I admire about President Bush the most, is just, I feel like he had that mentality.
Guys, this was just an incredible opportunity. We can't thank you enough for doing it. And, if there's anything we can do for you guys ever, maybe sometime we can do something in person when we're not all locked in our house.
I know, that'd be nice.
Perfect. Sounds
Yeah,
good.
we'd love to get y'all out.
I agree. This has been a really special time. Thank you guys for taking
Thank you, y'all. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a good one,
Thank you.
guys. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Be good.